What if I told you that the most passionate love story of 1923 never ended when the cameras stopped rolling? That Spencer and Alexandra's explosive chemistry wasn't just staged, rather that there was something very real going on behind the scenes. In this exclusive deep dive, we're unpacking Brandon Sklenar and Julia Schlaepfer's off-screen connection, the moments that sparked it, and how their bond changed everything on set. This is not just about what happened on screen, rather, it is about what happens when the director yells cut from flirtatious downtime to powerful scene work. Let's get started, what their off-screen chemistry looked like. It's one thing to have chemistry on screen, but what Julia Schlaepfer and Brandon Sklenar brought to 1923 was electric. They transformed a whirlwind romance into the show's emotional beating heart as Spencer and Alexandra. In addition to the passion and perilous journey of their characters, viewers were captivated by the actors' natural connection, which gave each scene an intensely personal feel. It never seemed forced, just real, whether it was a smirk, a glance, or a full-on struggle for survival. It turns out that when the cameras stopped rolling, that spark didn't go out of sight. Both Brandon and Julia revealed in interviews that they spent time forming a bond that was similar to the closeness of their characters. Horseback riding, goofing off between takes, and even treating each other to manicures. Julia once said they were thick as thieves on set, which speaks volumes about the trust and camaraderie they developed. It's no surprise their performances resonated so deeply. Their connection wasn't just about being co-stars, it was about becoming scene partners who got each other. That synergy allowed them to push boundaries in emotional scenes, trusting the other would be right there in the moment. Brandon praised Julia's capacity to make room for genuine emotion and described Julia as fearless. Fans couldn't help but wonder if their bond would last beyond the show because it was a give and take that elevated their plot. Even though they have both since embarked on new endeavours, their connection is still felt. The Spencer and Alexandra storyline will live long in the memory because of their rare chemistry. Whether or not they share the screen again, the off-screen dynamic they built during 1923 became a masterclass in how real-world camaraderie can enhance on-screen magic. How this bonding shaped their performances. Not only did the bond between Julia Schlaepfer and Brandon Sklenar make filming more enjoyable, but it also fundamentally influenced how they performed as Spencer and Alexandra in 1923. Because of their trust outside of the camera, they were able to take risks with their characters right from the start and jump right into emotionally charged scenes without hesitation. That connection gave them the freedom to react naturally to one another, making their interactions feel spontaneous, raw, and deeply human. Their closeness off-set translated into performances that felt emotionally lived in. Every glance, embrace, or heated exchange came across as genuine because they weren't just acting opposite a co-worker, they were responding to a friend they deeply trusted. In a series that is already known for its high-stakes drama, the authenticity of their scenes stood out, especially during the more vulnerable or intense parts. They could push each other to new emotional depths without fear of miscommunication or holding back because of their bond. It also meant that their character's arc, rushing from strangers to soulmates amidst war, danger, and loss, never felt rushed or artificial. That kind of intimacy is hard to fake, but their off-screen connection gave them a foundation to build something believable. Whether they were on a train, on horseback, or stranded in the wilderness, their chemistry remained the most consistent and compelling thread of the show. For many fans, Spencer and Alexandra became the emotional centre of 1923, and that's largely due to the performances shaped by Brandon and Julia's bond. Their connection added layers to their portrayals, turning a scripted romance into something that felt mythic and unforgettable. It's a reminder that the best screen chemistry often starts when two actors genuinely respect and understand one another beyond the lens. Stories from behind the scenes on set, Brandon Sklenar and Julia Schlaepfer created a dynamic in 1923 that was just as entertaining for fans as it was on screen. Knowing that their characters' entire arc depended on believability and trust, they prioritized building a strong rapport from the beginning. Before filming even started, they went horseback riding together, which was one of the first times they became close. Getting into the mindset of two people navigating love and danger in the wild American frontier was more important than just getting ready for the roles. Another favorite information among fans that came up in interviews: the Monty Petty Agreement. During their downtime, Julia and Brandon would go out together for manicures and pedicures. This fun activity not only helped them relax, but it also showed how supportive and light-hearted their friendship was off-screen. They weren't method acting in isolation. They were building a friendship rooted in laughter, comfort, and shared vulnerability, which came through in every scene they filmed together. They also talked a lot about their characters, worked together through the emotional beats of each scene, and planned out how Spencer and Alix's relationship would grow naturally. Julia mentioned that they frequently read scenes together off-set, discussing concepts and experimenting with various emotional tones to determine which was most authentic. This kind of collaboration went beyond the average scene partner dynamic. It became more of a creative partnership that brought out the best in both of them. Even in the high-stress moments of shooting action sequences or emotionally heavy scenes, Brandon and Julia leaned on each other. There was a sense of calm between them that allowed for vulnerability on set, especially during scenes that could easily veer into melodrama without the right touch. Their relationship behind the scenes not only made filming go more smoothly, but it also made 1923 one of the most compelling and believable love stories ever. What Julia and Brandon have said about working together. The manner in which Julia Schlaepfer and Brandon Sklenar described their partnership speaks volumes about the chemistry that fueled their unforgettable performances. Both of them have openly expressed their appreciation for working together in 1923. Julia has repeatedly called Brandon a dream scene partner, praising his generosity, focus, and ability to create a grounded emotional space during even the most intense scenes. She credited his calming presence and willingness to work closely with her on each scene of their story for a lot of her comfort on set. In response, Brandon has characterized Julia as fearless and emphasized her dedication to each scene, regardless of how physically or emotionally demanding it may be. He mentioned in interviews that their dynamic was built on mutual trust and that it made every moment between Spencer and Alexandra feel honest. Julia's willingness to tackle difficult material head-on helped Brandon improve his own performance and maintained their dynamic's sharpness, responsiveness, and authenticity. Their emphasis on the partnership aspect of their work together is what really stands out in their interviews. They didn't approach their characters as individuals, but as two halves of a single emotional arc. From rehearsing together off-set to helping shape each scene's emotional flow, both actors played an active role in bringing the Spencer-Alexandra love story to life. Their creative collaboration was deliberate and deeply rooted in admiration and respect. Julia and Brandon maintained their affectionate conversations about their time together even after the filming was over. Although there is no official confirmation of whether they will collaborate on a subsequent project, their comments suggest a genuine affection that extends beyond acting together. These real-life compliments provide fans with a deeper understanding of why their scenes felt so powerful. At their core, these two actors truly enjoyed creating something meaningful together. From the ranch to the runway, Julia's fashion development, Julia Schlaepfer's transformation from 1923's rugged, travel-worn Alexandra to a modern-day fashion icon has been nothing short of stunning. On screen, audiences saw her as a British aristocrat who left behind high society to chase love and survival across oceans and deserts. In the show, her outfits changed from elegant gowns to riding gear that was covered in dust. But off-screen, Julia has taken her sense of style to a whole new level, becoming a red carpet standout with a bold, glamorous edge. During a Top Gun Maverick event, she ditched the prairie look and channeled full Hollywood bombshell energy, making it one of her most talked-about fashion moments. The actress playing Alexandra, who had been trudging through the African wilderness, was barely recognized by fans. The character she played marked a significant departure from her sleek, contemporary appearance, which included statement makeup, designer gowns, and confident poise. It was more than just a fashion boost. It was a statement that Julia is about to enter a new era of stardom. Her choices in clothing also show how her public persona is changing. While 1923 showcased her acting chops, her red carpet appearances and editorial photo shoots are highlighting her star power. She's now walking in circles where she's no longer just Alexandra from 1923, but Julia Schlaepfer, the rising actress who's catching eyes far beyond the Yellowstone universe. She is indicating that she is prepared for roles and recognition that extend well beyond the ranch with every chic hairstyle and designer dress. Is Yellowstone 1944 better off without them? As much as fans adore Spencer and Alexandra, some are starting to wonder, is Yellowstone 1944 actually better off without them? It's a bold question, but not without reason. In 1923, Julia Schlaepfer and Brandon Sklenar gave powerful performances, but their storyline was so emotionally complete that it might not need to be continued. For a new chapter like 1944 to thrive, it may need to pivot away from the past and forge its own identity, new faces, new dynamics, and a fresh Dutton legacy. 1944 might also be able to avoid being too emotionally tied to 1923 if they weren't there. The danger of keeping Spencer and Alexandra in the story is that it could slow the momentum of a brand new plotline. After all, their relationship was already a major plot point, and continuing it runs the risk of making the upcoming series feel more like a continuation than a standalone prequel. The writers and the audience might be able to experience a different kind of Yellowstone tale, one that isn't bound by nostalgia if that cord is cut. From a production standpoint, it also might be the cleanest route. Both Brandon and Julia are quickly rising stars with growing commitments elsewhere. Forcing their return could feel awkward or even miscast, especially if their characters' stories are shoehorned into a plot they weren't originally meant to inhabit. Giving them a graceful exit preserves the integrity of 1923 while clearing the stage for new power players to emerge. Ultimately, what makes Yellowstone so compelling is its ability to reinvent itself with each new chapter. 1944 might need to lean into the next generation of Duttons if it wants to be successful. These Duttons were shaped by Spencer and Alexandra, but they no longer have to carry the emotional weight. Their legacy can continue even if they are not physically present, enabling 1944 to construct something daring, novel, and unforgettable. Whether their on-set spark was pure friendship or something more, one thing's for sure. Brandon and Julia created magic that elevated 1923 into something unforgettable. Their relationship behind the scenes was more than just juicy gossip. It was the fuel for some of the show's most moving and exciting moments. Will we see that magic return in 1944, or have these two already vanished into thin air? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you want more deep dives into the world of Yellowstone, hit that subscribe button. I will continue to provide you with authentic tales from the frontier.